Hey guys, so like I talked about in the last video about Bless, today, the 11th, was a big day for Bless. A ton of content creators were invited down to the studios, and they got to play the game, stream the game, and ask the developers questions. So through this, we have learned a number of new things about Bless, and some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it's not sure how to feel about it. So to start off with, Bless is a tab target game. We already knew this. The updated combat, however, makes it less tab targeting than you'd think when you hear tab targeting. So tab targeting, most people when they hear it, they think World of Warcraft, more specifically like Vanilla WoW, where you right click someone and you start auto attacking them, and then you've got your pretty much hotbar, and you press the hotbar to cast skills, and your skill bars appear as you channel skills or cast skills. Bless, there's no auto attacks, it's only chaining skills, which makes it a lot more like Guild Wars 2 style combat, which it still isn't action combat, but is much closer to action combat than something like World of Warcraft, and is honestly pretty fun to play. So as long as the combat feels more like Guild Wars 2, it shouldn't be too bad. Next up, PvP is going to be limited for arenas and instance PvP. They're going to have the arenas and other type of instance PvP open during limited times of the day. What this means is if you want to queue into PvP at, say, 3 a.m., and that's not one of the times the arena is open, you will not be able to do that. In a similar vein, dungeons are going to have a limited number of entries per day. They're on a timer to dissuade basically farming dungeons for experience and loot, and allowing hardcore players to go super far ahead of lower or more casual players. So this is a pretty common practice in MMOs these days. I'm not super happy about it. I like being able to just run dungeons all the time. I find that only raids should really be time gated, but we'll have to see what the timer is, if it's reasonable, or if it's like you can run 2 or 3 a day. The cash shop. So we didn't get to see too much of the cash shop today. However, it is one of the things people are most anxious about and the most worried about. So it probably will have experience buffs. That's one of the big things. However, Bless has a level cap. There's a max level. So I don't really find having an experience buff too terrible a thing. World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, lots of other Western MMOs already have experience buffs, or even just directly raise your character to max level available in the cash shop. So I don't think an experience buff is too terrible a thing. However, we don't know what else is in the cash shop. So we will have to wait and see as we get closer to release, which is another thing we found out today. It releases on the 28th of May. So that's the early access, and then for those that didn't buy the founder packs, it will release on the 30th. And on the 30th, so the prices for the game, it's going to be $30 for the game, $40 for a founders pack that allows for early access. So if you want to log in on the 28th instead of the 30th, you will need to pay an extra $10, pay for the $40 founders pack, but you do get a free month's sub out of this. So the month's sub. The sub is it's a premium sub, and it gives you cosmetic items and options every month. Kind of similar to Black Desert's value pack, which allows you to customize your character and to dye your outfits completely free of charge. So we'll have to see a bit more about the premium sub, but so far it's looking pretty good. Doesn't seem to give you any in-game advantages, which I like in subscriptions. I like subscriptions that give you a bit extra for the game, but don't allow you to be more powerful than another player that doesn't necessarily sub. So that looks pretty good. So there's a few other things that we found out. Castle sieges should be available on launch, but they may be held off until later in the early access launch. They don't want to give early access players too big basically a benefit for being early access. So castle sieges should be available pretty early on in the game's lifespan, but we'll have to wait and see. The North American servers are located in, I believe it's Virginia, and the European servers are located in Frankfurt. So pretty good server locations. It doesn't seem too polarized towards one or the other. West Coast players in North America might be a little annoyed at Virginia, as that is on the East Coast, but we'll have to see if the servers are a problem, as it's not like it's a Twitch-style action combat game, such like Black Desert, Blade and Soul, so having a slightly higher ping shouldn't affect you too terribly. One of the bigger things that we did find out today that was really confirmed is that there is no player trading. However, the devs did say that if the community feels very strongly about it, player trading can be discussed and there is the possibility of it being added to the game. So if everyone gets really annoyed about player trading not being in the game, if there's a big outcry, then the developers might add player trading to the game. On the other hand, if players enjoy not having player trading, they don't like player trading being in the game, don't want to mess with the economy, then the devs will continue to just keep player trading out of the game entirely. Moving on to the economy, the auction house is similar to the Black Desert auction house in that there are hard caps, so basically hard maximum and minimum prices for items. If an item can kind of float in between the two prices, but there is a hard minimum and there's a hard maximum to prevent basically marketplace manipulation from making players millions and millions of the in-game currency. As to major updates, there will be major updates every 3 months. So with the release being at the end of May, you can expect the first major update to be around the end of August. Although, since the game will have just been released, we might be able to get some major updates before that. Also, the Siren Race and the Warlock class are both, they should be coming in 2019, but no exact word on that, and they haven't told us at all about the Assassin or Mystic classes. So it could be a while before we get any new classes in the Western version of Bless. The dungeon reset scrolls will not be in the North American or European cash shops, so don't worry about the cash shop being able to affect basically arena or dungeon availability. They won't be affecting that. But like I said earlier, we still don't really know too much about the cash shop itself. They didn't have it available for the testing session today, so could be a little... players are a little worried. We're not too sure if they're hiding something from us, like Black Desert did with hiding certain items in the cash shop that were sellable for silver, or if if it just wasn't ready in time for the event. Who really knows, right? So Lumina, the in-game currency, the exact price will be announced on launch. The current speculation by the developers is 100 Lumina will be equivalent to $1 US. So you will be able to trade $1 for Lumina. As to how that's going to work exactly, it's a little unknown. I believe Lumina is actually the premium currency. Sorry about that. And you can also convert dungeon and honor points to Lumina, but we don't know the ratios of dungeon honor points, so the arena points. So we don't really know how efficient it will be to grind those for Lumina, or if it'll be better to grind them for whatever other items they can be exchanged for. So far, it's looking pretty good. They seem to be doing a lot of stuff the community asked for. There's quite a lot of stuff that makes you a little worried. For example, they haven't talked very much about the cash shop very much. The premium sub looks pretty good. I don't mind a premium sub that doesn't really affect gameplay at all, so that's good. The dungeon timers, we will have to learn more about. Like, there's a lot of stuff here that really comes down to numbers. If the numbers are good, then it's fine. If the dungeon timers are reasonable, if the arena times that it's open, like as much as I hate having arena being limited specific times, as I have a rather strange work schedule, as long as it's open at reasonable times for the day for all players, it's fine. Same with the exchange for Lumina, exchanging Lumina for money, well, money for Lumina really, so $1 US for 100, which is the speculation, it'll be fine. And the other thing that's kind of worrying is the new classes and race, because 2019 is pretty far away. Like, we're only just about to hit the halfway point of the year once we're done with June, which is a full month after the release of Bless. So that's over half a year before any new classes, and there's only 5 classes in the game right now: Paladin, Guardian, Berserker, Ranger, and Mage. So it's not like we have a ton of classes to try out and level up. We've only got 5. So if anyone kind of gets bored of the current classes, if you're an altaholic, then that could be a bit of a problem. But the good things are, the combat seems to have been much improved, as combat was really one of the big reasons that Bless failed in Russia and Japan. It seems to be much improved. They're working hard to make it better, so that's promising. Premium sub, like I said, looks good. The cash shop will contain convenience items. I didn't mention this earlier. It will contain convenience items such as inventory slots, but inventory slots isn't too huge a thing. Guild Wars 2, for example, has inventory slots available in the cash shop, and as long as that's kind of like the worst offender, it's fine. But like I said, we will have to see what the cash shop does contain. But so far, most of it looks pretty good. They seem to be avoiding pay-to-win quite a lot. $30 is not a bad price for the base game. $40 if you want early access, and you get more than the extra $10 worth in extra stuff for paying the extra $10, so it's fine as well if you plan on spending any money in the game at all. Player trading, that is, for me, that's pretty bad. I really like player trading. But the fact that they are saying that they're open to feedback, as long as that's not just lip service, there is hope that we can get player trading into the game. So fingers crossed that enough of the players in the community feel strongly about player trading needing to be in MMOs and that they listen to the community and put it in. But it could be that the community is actually really happy with that and that I'm in the minority, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. So far, Bless is looking fine, I guess. It's not knocking anything out of the park, but it's also not failing to hit either. Like it's got getting a few solid hits in. We're to continue the baseball analogy, we're loading a few of the bases. It'll all really depend on what we see in the upcoming 2 weeks before the game's release, as we have 16 days exactly until the game releases from when this video goes up, and how they proceed going forward. The event today was a little mismanaged, I'll be honest. It was chaotic. A lot of the streamers didn't really know exactly what they were doing. But a few of the streamers, like the Bearded Gamer, for example, had a lot of good questions. They had a lot of hard-hitting questions. We got a lot of good information about this. So, fingers crossed. I'm going in hopeful. I'm not going to be optimistic, but I am hopeful. And maybe Bless can fill in the time or even become a very powerful MMO in the West in its own right as we wait for other more anticipated MMOs. Hopefully, Bless knocks it out of the park at release. People love the game, and it does really well, and puts some pressure on the other MMOs in the industry right now. They're kind of stagnating, don't really need to innovate too much because there's really no competition. There's like 5 big MMOs right now. World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, ESO, Final Fantasy XIV, and Black Desert. So, that's really all the information we found out about Bless today. Some good stuff there, some okay stuff there. Hope you guys enjoyed kind of this synthesis, really, of what we learned. And yeah, stay tuned, really, for the next 2 weeks as we find out more about the game as we approach the early access launch. Thanks for watching, as always, guys. Subscribe if you liked it, and have a good one.